Holy God Almighty! What did we just see? The Beast incarnate! The Beast! The Beast! The Beast! Brock Lesnar is back in WWE after 2 years off. After an epic, incredible SummerSlam that, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this. As much as I defended WrestleMania 41 at the time, this SummerSlam blew WrestleMania out of the water. This, combined with night one, was the show of the year in professional wrestling. I don't care what anybody says. I'll put this matchup against anybody out of any professional wrestling company this year. That main event, yes, Jalen Sandvik, holy shit, the Beast is back. Oh my goodness, I am shaking right now, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even describe to you what I just witnessed after one of the best main event matches I have ever seen in my life between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. The Beast made his appearance. Well, let's get right to this show because we kick things off with a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship, which at this point feels like months ago, between Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. And they started off this match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky trying to team up against Naomi. Naomi being a little chicken heel shit, running around the ring. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I'm all tongue twisted, guys. I can barely talk. I'm so excited. Brock Lesnar's back in WWE. Anyways, Naomi is running around like a chicken heel shit. Eventually, Rhea and Io catch her. There's an accidental fire with Rhea Ripley on basically a big boot to Io Sky. And that basically gives Naomi a chance to get control of this match. There's a moment in the match where Rhea hits a riptide on Naomi, but Io Sky breaks it up. There's a moment where Naomi basically goes for a pin on Rhea, sees Io Sky coming, allows Io Sky to hit the over-the-top moonsault, but Naomi was able to move out of the way. The ending of the match I thought was great. You know, they've been telling this story about how Rhea Ripley has gotten screwed out of the Women's World Championship multiple times, how she's not able to defeat Io Sky. She's able to eventually hit a avalanche riptide from the top rope on Io Sky, but Naomi comes in, and not only does she roll Rhea Ripley up, but she uses the tights on the Eradicator to retain the Women's World Championship. Another note about tonight versus last night's SummerSlam was we did see some more special entrances tonight. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes got one. AJ Styles got one, which we'll get to when we talk about his match with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, as well as Naomi here. I guess her dad is like some famous musician, famous guitarist. He played her down to the ring. This match was not as good as the WrestleMania Triple Threat between Rhea, Io, and Bianca. Obviously, each were playing different parts in that role here. You know, in that match, Rhea was the babyface. Bianca was the tweener. Or excuse me, Rhea was basically playing, Io was playing, you know, the girl who everybody was underestimating. Rhea was the big babyface, and Bianca was kind of tweener. Here, Rhea and Io were on equal footing as babyfaces. Naomi was obviously playing that ruthless heel. Let's get to match number 2, which was absolute shit show in a good way, entertaining way, the TLC match. Now, I thought they kicked this match off because I said, how the hell are they going to follow a 12-person, 16 TLC match? Let me tell you, they followed it with an incredible bout between Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which we will get to. But the Street Profits, the Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, and of course the champions, the Wyatt Six, absolutely laid their bodies on the line. They did show the Dudleys and Hardys beforehand. Of course, this is the anniversary of the 25-year anniversary of the first TLC match between the likes of Edge and Christian, the Hardys and the Dudleys. I know why, obviously. Edge and Christian could not be there. It sucks, unfortunately, but they paid tribute in a lot of ways to those 6 men in this match. the constant table spots, the one where Ciampa is hanging above the ring, and Nathan Frazier, who climbs up the ladder maybe as quick as anybody has ever had in this business. I thought he was going to go for the Edge Jeff Hardy spear spot that we all remember from WrestleMania 17. Tommaso Ciampa ends up hanging from above the rafters, which the cord strength on that was incredible. That was followed up by a Johnny Gargano super kick. And then obviously preceding that was a Montez Ford dive where DIY was trying to throw him for the table, and Montez Ford flew over and got some tag teams. There was a moment where Dexter Lumis did an incredible leg drop through the table on Montez Ford. Even the woman got involved. Candice LeRae climbed the ladder. I don't know if Pete Fab's officially still part of the Street Profits or not. I thought she was in the tag team with Michin. I guess she's back with the Street Profits. She got involved. Obviously, Nikki Cross got involved. There was the holy shit moment where Candice LeRae went through that ladder. And that ladder, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that ladder absolutely positively split in two, split in half. And that looked like a nasty fall. Officials were immediately there against Candice LeRae. Of course, Eric Rowan got involved. Uncle Howdy got involved. And that took an incredible sunset foot powerbomb from Andrade through a ladder, which just looked absolutely nasty. But in the end, the double team to Rey Fenix and the Wyatt Six, as I predicted, end up retaining the WWE Tag Team Championships. Kind of weird, in my opinion, that only one championship changed hands on the night, and that wasn't the main event. So, spoiler alert on the next match, which I thought, again, I kept thinking the whole time, they're going to follow up the TLC match with AJ and Dom, because that's the only non-stipulation match on this show. I thought we sort of heard night one if they did 3 tag team matches on night one, and they're doing all stipulation matches on night 2. But let me tell you, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria took the fact that they were supposed to be the calm down match after a TLC match very personally. The way the Street Profits, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns, remember, they were left off WrestleMania. They did the TLC match the Friday after WrestleMania on SmackDown. I think those 3 teams, plus the 3 teams involved in this match, took that very personally, put on a hell of a show at SummerSlam. Becky and Lyra took being the cooldown spot very seriously because, my God, until the main event, have we seen a WWE match with no rules be that physical in years? Sometimes in WWE, we hear the words no disqualification. And listen, I've always said that AEW is the place where you want to go for if you want to watch 2001 ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling, where they're going to use barbed wire and kendo sticks and garbage cans and all that. But sometimes in WWE, we hear no disqualification, and it's mostly just chairs. This match was anything but. They did use chairs. They did use tables. They did use kendo sticks. But they also used crowbars. They used chains. They used a full freaking toolbox. They used zip ties. I mean, they had Lyra Valkyria early on in the match swing a crowbar while Becky Lynch was swinging a kendo stick. Michael Cole said it was like Juan Soto basically up there for the Mets. The crowbar won. But this match really turned up when Becky Lynch used those zip ties, completely zip-tied Lyra Valkyria, basically chained her against the ropes and was beating the absolute hell out of her with the kendo stick. Lyra somehow, basically with zip ties around her, was able to do a moonsault and get rotation on it, which even Wade Barrett said, how the hell are you going to do that? And then she somehow used a fire extinguisher on Becky Lynch, and I guess, I don't know, used the sharp of the fire extinguisher, I don't know, to like free her hands from the zip tie, and then she started getting revenge on Becky. Becky Lynch was then lining up for another potential swing with a crowbar on Lyra Valkyria, and guess who took the end of the crowbar? Bayley. We know Bayley's been involved in this triangle with Lyra and Becky. Their triple threat match at Evolution was an absolute show stealer, and Becky ends up sending Bayley into the crowd. There's a moment here also where Lyra hits the Nightwing, and it was nasty. From the steel steps all the way down to the floor. She rolls Becky Lynch back inside the ring. It looks like she's going to go for another victory. As Bayley tries to get revenge on Becky, she tries to punch Becky. Becky ducks. She hits Lyra in the face, and Bayley had chains wrapped around her. Becky Lynch was able to put the manhandle slam through a couple of chairs. 1, 2, 3. Ending this rivalry that started the night after WrestleMania. And it does look like, in my opinion, we are going to eventually lead to a Bayley heel turn on Lyra Valkyria. I suspect Bayley will be next in line for a Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria will ruin Bayley's opportunity, and we will then get to the Bayley-Lyra Valkyria feud. And I said it. I know a lot of people don't like Lyra Valkyria. I think Becky Lynch has brought the best out of her during this feud. I also don't know how I feel, by the way, about Becky Lynch's new entrance theme song. If you're listening on YouTube live here, you can go in and comment down below. Let's get to the steel cage match between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, which started off a little bit slow. Solo Sikoa, surprisingly, in my opinion, did not come out with his MFTs at ringside, but boy, did they make their appearance where they eventually tried to get inside the ring. Obviously, Jimmy Uso tried to stop him. There was a mad scramble for the steel cage door at the end of the match where eventually the big Tonga Loan, whatever we call him, Tammy Tonga, slammed Jacob Fatu's head inside the steel cage, which allowed Solo Sikoa to slip out the door. I thought the finish was going to be, before the event, I said it could have been, the Tonga Loan is trying to get inside the cage while Solo is trying to escape the door, and Jacob Fatu just can't get down in time. That's why you protect Fatu. I think I would have liked that finish a little bit better than the finish we got here. It's important to note, by the way, that Solo Sikoa did kick out of the Jacob Fatu moonsault, which is very oddly similar to the Tiffany Stratton prettiest moonsault ever, but it's the first time anybody's kicked out of the Fatu moonsault. And they did mention on commentary, and I was surprised to hear this because it sounded like a weird stat to me. Solo Sikoa has not lost one-on-one since Roman Reigns, January 6, 2025, the Raw debut on Netflix, Tribal Combat, whatever that date was. That was the last time Solo Sikoa got pinned one-on-one. Seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Because it seems like this whole My Family tree is sort of a Timu bloodline, if you will, and Solo is not a dangerous threat anymore. And JC Mateo came in. It looked like he was going to be, I agree with you, Jalen. I was expecting more. It was okay. I don't know. It's like Solo is supposed to be this ruthless heel, and he just doesn't get there for me. He never really has, even back when he was going up against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at last year's SummerSlam, which, believe it or not, I was in the building, ladies and gentlemen, at First Energy Stadium a year ago tonight. At this time, Damian Priest was the World Heavyweight Champion coming out to defend the championship against the King of the Ring, Gunther, and this year Damian Priest doesn't even make the SummerSlam card. My, oh my, how things can change in a year. But yeah, I don't know where they go here with Solo and Jacob Fatu. Does this feud continue? I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of Jacob Fatu. This Timu Bloodline stuff isn't really doing much for me. Then we get to AJ versus Dom. And this match was what it was. It turned into a tribute to Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio from the custody of Dominic, which is one of, if not my favorite match of all time. The ladder match at SummerSlam 2005 between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Eddie Guerrero coming out in a Rey Mysterio similar mask to what Rey Mysterio wore that night. AJ Styles, along with his son, coming out in the lowrider and Eddie Guerrero tights. They obviously did the spot where Eddie does, where he throws the chair and then lays down. AJ Styles was way ahead of Dom. He was able to just lay down. The referee didn't know what to do. There was not a ton of spots up to that point. AJ Styles was able to hit the Ogi Gorochi on Dominic Mysterio. He put Dom in the calf crusher. But then, just like at WrestleMania 20, where Eddie Guerrero faced Kurt Angle, and Eddie Guerrero's boot came off, and that's what he used to roll up Kurt Angle and retain the WWE Championship at the time. Dominic Mysterio's boots came off. Now, what was not shown until after the match was Dom actually loosened his boots. Before, it was a ruse where, again, AJ Styles was trying to get the crowd really hyped up, be that Eddie Guerrero tribute, and Dominic Mysterio is actually the one that paid tribute to his real father, Rey Mysterio. Yes, his real father in Eddie Guerrero. That's my papi. And Eddie Guerrero and Dominic Mysterio, and Dom was able to hit AJ Styles with the boot, hit the splash. 1, 2, 3. Dom retained the Intercontinental Championship. Again, I enjoyed this feud. Who knows if this was supposed to be the match that they were going to have at Night of Champions, and whether or not political relationships or, whatever was going on with the U.S. and the Middle East at the time delayed this match, and they did the angle with Dom getting hurt, or if Dom was really hurt. We don't know, but I enjoyed the comedic effect to this, and I did enjoy the match. Now, where do I even begin? Jalen, if you're still listening, in the comment section, if you want to help me out, let me know. Where the hell do I begin with the main event match with your hero, Jalen Sandbeck, the greatest of all time? I thought it was odd they still called him the last real champion, because that's not his gimmick anymore. The never seen 17, John Cena, defending against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And you guys know, I was saying it for weeks. I thought there was going to be a heel turn. I thought the signs were there. Cody Rhodes wearing The Rock's watch. Cody Rhodes being more ruthless. Cody Rhodes not giving a shit about John Cena and his feelings because of what happened at WrestleMania 41. And then they do the face turn on a random promo on SmackDown, basically burying whatever idea they had for The Rock and Travis Scott way back when the heel turn happened in the Elimination Chamber. And again, I defended the heel turn, which this heel turn to me was solidified tonight that John Cena was wrestling purposely bad on purpose. As I said before, he was trying to ruin wrestling by being the absolute worst wrestler on the face of the planet for 5 months. Everybody hated the heel turn because you were supposed to hate the heel turn, because John Cena was doing everything in his power to ensure you did. And that meant also wrestling like a chicken little heel shit. Folks, I gotta tell you, Cody Rhodes, during the introductions of this match, got booed out of the building. And I thought, oh, here we go. Even when they did the spot where Cody Rhodes was loosening up the turnbuckle, right, and lowering the ropes, that's something heels do. They kept doing the signs all throughout the match, and I kept waiting for the American Nightmare to turn heel. It obviously never happened. Now, this match was absolute crack. I can't even begin to rehearse to you the spots. I mean, they fought literally all over this arena. At some point in WWE history, I want to see a street fight actually take place in the street in modern times. It's the only place where they did not fight in this match. There was table bumps. There was multiple AAs. There was a crossroads. There was a Cody cutter. There was a triple crossroads which Cena kicked out. Then there was the double AA and then the avalanche AA. Like, this is WWE 2K with unlimited finishers. Shout out to the late great Simone Bulldozer with the turnbuckle spot. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite modern matches in recent memory in WWE was actually Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2022, because of the tractor spot. Like, that spot was rent-free in my head forever. But this match might have topped it, man. This match was everything. When Cena kicked out of the triple crossroads, I thought that was it at that point. And I said, oh my God, okay, we still got more to go. So at that point, I knew Cody was going to kick out of the Avalanche AA. But then I kept thinking, okay, how are they going to get to a return? How are they going to get to this heel turn? Is there going to be a rep bump? What is there going to be? And all of a sudden, Cody hits a super Cody cutter from the top rope through a table. Then you add the salute to John Cena, which was, again, booed by the crowd, I must point out. Cody then hits a final crossroads, like his fourth or fifth crossroads in the match. 1, 2, 3. And they said on commentary, just like WrestleMania 29, when The Rock passed the torch to John Cena is now passing the torch to Cody Rhodes. This is why I am a little bothered by that comment in my, I forgot about this spot. You're right. How did I forget about this spot? The stage spot. That camera shot was absolute cinema. Jalen, I 100% agree with you. I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. So they end up going, like I said, for the crowd. And they make their way back to the ramp arena. And they go underneath the platform of the stage at SummerSlam. And they come back up. And there is a picture-perfect shot of basically the face of heel Cena lifting Cody. Now, I thought he should have AA'd him right off that platform instead of stepping up to him and, hitting the AA on the ramp. That's a minor detail there. But the one thing this match showed is John Cena's a glutton for punishment. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is a glutton for punishment. And those two men put on. I said last night, I thought CM Punk versus Gunther might have been one of my favorite matches ever. I thought it was 10 stars. I don't give a bleep what Dave Meltzer says. That match was 5 stars. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought tonight's main event, if you can give a match 5.5 stars, which apparently you can give the Young Bucks 5.5 stars. So Dave, I'm going to give John Cena, Cody Rhodes 5.5 stars. Absolute perfect cinema. But again, you kept waiting for the heel turn. And this is what I wanted to get back to. They said that commentary, this is a passing of the torch moment. Rock passes the torch to Cena WrestleMania 29. Cena passes the torch to Cody at SummerSlam in the same stadium, MetLife Stadium. In my opinion, John Cena passed the torch 4 years ago at SummerSlam. SummerSlam 2021 in Las Vegas, Nevada against Roman Reigns. And if you really want to be technical, John Cena actually passed the torch to Roman Reigns when they faced off in that match at No Mercy in 2017. When Cena raised Reigns' hand after the match. Remember that was right after Roman Reigns had defeated The Undertaker that year, WrestleMania 33, that was going into Roman, who would, take out Braun Strowman in the Elimination Chamber that year and go on to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. WWE was obviously trying to push Roman Reigns down our throat, but that felt like a passing of the torch moment. Then Roman Reigns returns in 2020. He has his run as the Tribal Chief. A year into that run, he faces John Cena, who returns at Money in the Bank, the first PLE back with fans in forever. And Roman Reigns wins. And by the way, that was John Cena's last SummerSlam match before tonight. Then, to me, Roman Reigns passed the torch to Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes finished the story. We didn't need John Cena to pass the torch to Cody Rhodes. When you think about the immortals, the greatest legends in the history of WWE, obviously, I'm talking about the Mount Rushmore, the guy selling the tickets at the top of the ticket for years. Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin / The Rock. If you want to say Shawn Michaels, I'd hear that argument, obviously, before maybe Stone Cold / The Rock. Then you had John Cena. Then you had Roman Reigns. Now I believe it's Cody Rhodes. It's not Cena passing the torch to Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Hate on me all you want. That's my little gripe about that. So Cody goes off, and I was waiting for like Travis Scott's music or The Rock's music to hit, which I did not predict, by the way. I thought there was maybe a heel turn, but I did not think The Rock was going to actually come out or Travis Scott. I thought, maybe they do a ref bump, Cody kicks Cena in the balls. I was waiting for that after the match happened. It never happened. Cena raised Cody's hand. Cody leaves to go to the back. And then they do this wide shot, which looks absolutely incredible. And let me just point out, every single person in that building, and there were 60,000 fans in that building tonight, I swear to God, every single person was on their feet. And every single person was there to see babyface John Cena. Ladies and gentlemen, when the John Cena retirement tour started, I called it the Eras Tour for Men. Tonight, you absolutely saw that. Yes, I agree with this comment, Jay, when I'm going to put it on screen here in a second. So they do the wide shot, and all of a sudden you hear doom, 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 doom. And at Jalen's point, Michael Cole says, "Holy shit," which if you remember, dating back to SummerSlam 2021, remember, Roman Reigns defeats John Cena, as I mentioned. Brock Lesnar's music hits. Michael Cole keeps saying, "Holy, holy, holy." And Pat McAfee keeps saying, "Say it, say it, say it," as in holy shit. Because we were in the Vince McMahon era. We are now in the Paul Levesque era. Oh my God. People have criticized WWE over the past few months, and I get it. That WWE now is all about making viral moments. That, oh my God, Seth Rollins didn't need to cash in Money in the Bank. It was just for a moment. They're all about clicks now. We don't need to see Seth Rollins against CM Punk again. Bullshit, baloney. Get out of here with that take. But, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knew. This is another. Again, every beat reporter out there, "I had a feeling Brock." Watch Dave. "I was told Brock Lesnar is going to come back." It's like everybody said, the John Cena heel turn. No, nobody knew. Nobody knew about John Cena turning heel. Nobody knew about Brock Lesnar coming back. Now, we did hear reports that Brock Lesnar's merchandise was back in WWE shop. We did hear that his name in the lawsuit was dropped. I'm not going to get into that. But those are the only two inklings we knew. We had no idea Brock Lesnar was even in New Jersey. And Triple H said, after night one of SummerSlam last night, which again, I know I'm competing with the WWE post show right now. I get it. We're going to wrap up here in a couple minutes. But Triple H said last night, if you thought night one was crazy, you have seen nothing yet. And at Clash in Paris, we get it one final time. The never-seen 17, who had a 4-month title reign, his longest title reign, believe it or not, since 2013 when he won it from The Rock at WrestleMania 29, against the Beast Brock Lesnar. And I hope they make it a stipulation. Brock Lesnar, I don't know. Do we think Lesnar signed a multi-year contract? Do we think he's just here to do Cena and do WrestleMania maybe next year and get the hell out? We still need to see Brock Lesnar versus Gunther. That is absolutely on the table for WrestleMania 42 next year. As a matter of fact, I think it's legit going to happen now. I'll throw that out there. But let me end with this. So, Cody Rhodes is champion. He's a babyface. He's not turning heel yet. Okay. Where do we go from here? Last night, I proposed to you the Survivor Series War Games main event for the men's. And I said, well, I think it's going to be Roman, Punk, Cena, Jay and Jimmy Uso versus Rollins, Breakker, Reed. I said, Cody, find your fifth man. I am now wondering, ladies and gentlemen, think about this for a team at Survivor Series War Games. The OTC, the Tribal Chief, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Main event, Jey Uso, Yeet. The Second City Saint, CM Punk. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And John Cena versus Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and the man who I think will be first in line to challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre. 5-on-5, San Diego Padres Ballpark, Survivor Series, War Games. What do we think about that? Because there's going to be a lot of speculation out there. Do they turn Randy Orton heel? I think it's too soon. Could they do Cody versus Randy Orton next year at WrestleMania 42? Yes, they could. Could it be my idea? OTC 1 versus QB 1, Roman, Cody. That's where you maybe get the Cody Rhodes heel turn, is during that match. Maybe. Folks, SummerSlam 2025. I said before, I have a personal bias towards SummerSlam 2024 because I was there in First Energy Stadium. It will be the last ever one-night SummerSlam that I will say forever. That SummerSlam will be probably my favorite of all time. But by God, if tonight was just a one-night SummerSlam, it's up there as maybe a top 10 SummerSlam ever. If you combine tonight with what we saw from night one, especially Punk Gunther, Joey Rose match, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Breaker and Reed, and we got to wait and see on Braun Breaker's injury, obviously. Folks, this was a top SummerSlam of all time. I am geeked. I am excited. I am overcome with emotion, and I cannot wait for Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. As Michael Cole said at the end of WrestleMania 40 when Cody Rhodes finished his story, I love professional wrestling. And on Tuesday night, I know me and my partner over Championship Rings, Josh Younger, are going to argue. Josh Younger is more of an AEW guy. I'm more of a WWE guy. The companies are so different now. But man, I don't know how anybody, again, some of the matches weren't necessarily great. It wasn't the greatest show from top to bottom, but not every card is going to have 10 great matches every night. You got to have the cool down matches in there somewhere. I thought this was a absolutely out of breath, spectacular, scream at the top of your lungs spectacle. They made SummerSlam feel like WrestleMania in the summer, and I'm overjoyed with emotion. So if you were listening on YouTube, thank you for listening. Why? This is our special SummerSlam live edition. We have never done this before. Going live immediately after a PLE. I was able to do so this year, and I'm so excited that I was able to, because I don't know if my live reaction could be any clearer than what it was right now. I'm so geeked up for WWE in the fall. It's typically their slowest time of the year. We got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar in Paris. Are you bleeping kidding me? Let's effing go. And I love this comment, right, Jalen? If you enjoy professional wrestling, it shouldn't matter what company you watch. Any professional wrestling fan would enjoy summertime. Yeah, I agree. We'll go back and forth on AEW versus WWE. I will make my jokes towards AEW, and I'll still make my jokes towards Dave Meltzer as I always do. But it's mostly because those AEW fans out there that hate WWE get so worked up by it, it's honestly hysterical. With that, I'm signing off for Brandon's World. We are in collaboration with the one, the only Voltage Live. This Tuesday show will be our last show for a couple of weeks, but we're going to bring on friend of the show, Wrestling Historian Michael Reiner, to break down the fucking beast. Yeah, I'm going to say it. The fucking beast. Brock Lesnar is back in WWE. Until then, you guys know you guys are the best. I hope you enjoyed one of the greatest weekends of professional wrestling. This may have been the best weekend of the year. Screw that Saturday night's main event, All In Evolution. This may have been the best weekend of the year in professional wrestling. And with that, we'll see you on Tuesday's show with Michael Reiner. And